This is a session when I shall speak response to certain questions. Remember, Master is a presence, a light, fragrance. When you are in front of a flower, do you ask the questions? Do you question about its fragrance and beauty? There are two ways to connect to the flower, be with it, enjoy with it, share, be with what the flower wants to share with you. It shares its beauty, which is form manifested, and the fragrance, which is formless. You cannot see the fragrance of the flower, but because it is formless, it touches you in a different way. You can see its beauty, its luster, because it has a form. A master is a confluence of fragrance and flower. Move from the flower to its fragrance. Fragrance, when it comes to the master, it has to do something with the heart, not with the mind. Mind questions, heart has no more question. When the mind has no more question to ask, in that utter silence where no question is present, you come to know that which is, you come to feel that which is. You may call it God, a master, Tao, truth, or whatsoever you like. Master wants to communicate his presence because you understand words, so he has to use your words. But to the words, he gives his own meaning. And this is what we call the science of words. The same words are used in different disciplines: physics, chemistry, philosophy, psychology. Simply because that you understand English language, can you understand anything written in English language, be it physics, chemistry, or history, or geography, or any other discipline? Physics has its own discipline, its own way of communication. It has its own meaning of the words. Chemistry has its own meaning of the words used therein. Philosophy gives its own meaning to the words used for communication. Different flowers communicate their presence. The beauty is the same, but when it is communicated through rose flower, it is different. When it is reflected through orchid or any other flower, it has a different meaning. You want to understand the master, as you said about Osho, the abstract word. The words are abstract. The meaning is given by the person. And the meaning that the person gives, be it Osho or Krishnamurti or Hakim Sinai or Buddha, it is the abstract word to give. The master gives his own fragrance, its own beauty. So you cannot understand the master by the words. Simply on the pretext that you know English language does not mean you can understand whatsoever is written in English language in physics or chemistry or any other discipline. You want to understand the master by his words, and you give your own meaning to the words. The words will bark at you because you are trying to seek your own meaning through the words that has been used to communicate to you something. Words are limited. The meaning are magnanimous. What Master wants to communicate to you is magnanimous, and what you understand by it, you narrow it down, the meaning of the word according to your own understanding. You quoted from Osho, I choose my mother and father. Why does this arise in your mind as a question? Because you are connected to Osho, you're trying to understand Osho through his words, through your mind. And in that you will miss the fragrance that Osho is. And you quoted Osho, thousands of fools are making love around the earth, round the clock. Millions of unborn souls are ready to enter into any womb whatsoever. I waited 700 years for the right moment, and I thank existence. If you try to understand it, this message, it is a message. It is the fragrance of Osho. Not to be understood, but to be with this fragrance. To enjoy this fragrance. And the moment you start enjoying the fragrance, being one with the fragrance, it does something with you. I give you a metaphor, an example. We are now living in a post-Google era. There are internet facilities, but there was an era which was pre-Google when internet facilities were not available. People were still traveling. I recall when in pre-Google era I used to travel. I do not know where am I going to stay. That was a strange place when I visited Taipei in Taiwan, when I visited Tokyo and Osaka or England. There was no one known to me in that country. There was no place to stay. We are entering into an uncertain world, just like those millions of people, the souls that are hovering to enter the womb, and there are wombs ready to enter. So many flights are available, and then You are traveling, uncertain about everything. Where will you stay? What the country is like? What are the sightseeing places? If you are going for a holiday, your focus will be on sightseeing. There is no information available in advance to you. Do you remember that? You have no way to communicate or make the arrangements in advance where you will stay, who will guide you, who will take care of you, who will pick you up from the airport, who will provide for your boarding and lodging during your stay in that country. Everything was uncertain. We reached the capital of Taiwan, Taipei. It was dusk. But Taipei is a country which is where people travel mostly for business. So for that purpose, there was a long queue of the hotel representatives, and so we were informed that we register ourselves and explain what is our purpose. It took us certain time because there were hotels of different tariffs. We have to choose one that was within my means possible. It took nearly 2 hours, the time wasted. But that was necessary because there was no way to make the arrangements in advance. No way to make the arrangements in advance. Now there is a question. The city is nearly 70 to 80 miles from the airport. How am I going to reach? How much it is going to cost to reach there? Everything uncertain. But because it was a business country, business oriented, so the hotels have their own transport service. So I asked, how do we reach to the place? He said, no, we have our own vehicle, we'll take you to the hotel. They will only bring you from the airport to the hotel free, because during your stay in the hotel you have to pay for the accommodation and so. When you are returning from the hotel to the airport after finishing the job, you are not given a free ride. This was the situation in pre-Google era. Now we are living in a Google era. We have internet facilities. All the information about different countries is available. So you decide which country you want to visit. You can know what are the sightseeing places. You can know the information about the hotels. If you are on a business trip, you would like to stay in the close vicinity of the business places so that you do not have to spend unnecessary on the traveling. The traveling time is reduced, cost is reduced. The food of your choice is in the nearby vicinity, and you know what is the charges or the tariffs in the particular hotel. You choose everything, you make the arrangements in advance. You have no problems of whatsoever. You know according to your needs in that particular country. You have made all the arrangements. Isn't it so? There is no tension of where are you going to stay, who will take care of you during that sojourn. Whatever days you have to live, and you are relaxed and settled. This is because we are living in a post-Google era. A master like Osho is different. One who has lived his life fully aware. He dies, he enters into existence with awareness. Whatsoever is the last thought on your mind before going to sleep will be the first thought when you wake up in the morning. This is the law of existence. Whatever is your last thought on the mind before you go into sleep will be the first thought when you wake up in the morning. A master like Osho is a higher consciousness. It is like a person who is very rich, who have the resources. He cannot stay in ordinary hotels where not much facilities is provided. You choose the place of your stay according to what you are. If a prime minister visits another country, the arrangements are made differently because he cannot stay in ordinary hotels. There are certain hotels in almost each country where tariff is beyond the reach of common man and middleman. Only the rich people can afford. So a person who has his last birth lived with awareness is like that a rich man who cannot live with each and every environment. His focus on, he has chosen his life. And then let me take another example. If you have done your medical degree in your country and you want to do further specialization, you can do it in your country, or you choose United States of America. Then to enter into United States of America for doing the post-graduation in medicine, you have to follow their protocol. You have to go through the basic system. Then you know that there are 4 very prominent, significant, and important institutes where you can do your post-graduation. From Kirlians in Virginia, in a place called Roanoke, Boston Institute of Medicine, Massachusetts Institute. These are some of the important institutes. You will like to go there. But in order to get an admission in those institutes, you have to have the high grades because you are going for a specialization. Osho has to enter into a new life. So he has to wait for the right moment when it is like the person who has had to wait for the right moment when there is a place available in the institute, either Boston Institute of Medicine or Brilliance or any other. So he out of his own free will can choose his parents. One thing more, there are three types of souls. One is ordinary soul, according about which Osho says millions of unborn souls are hovering, and at the same time millions of people are making love wombs are available to those. Then there are two more categories. One who is a very higher category of soul, like that of Buddha, Mahavir, Zarathustra, Krishnamurti, Raman, Osho, Buddha. They cannot enter into the ordinary womb, just as a very rich person of your country cannot stay in any and every hotel that is available in the country where he is going. He has to choose a place through which to enter. So he may choose a first class, because he will not choose an economy class to travel. So there are wombs of three categories. Economy class wombs, which is ordinary wombs, everybody can choose and can afford. There are business class wombs, which are of a higher quality, and first class, and then there are suites. So there are limited space when it comes to the suites or the first class bookings. So there are two types of persons. One is higher souls. They will need a suite or first class, and at the same time there are very hard criminals. They cannot enter through ordinary womb. They cannot enter into the business or the first class. They have to have the womb suitable to them also. And those wombs, specialized wombs, are not always available. The common dishes are always available. And if you order a special dish that in a la carte menu, it has to be prepared specifically for you according to your own taste. The spice level and different things are to be, it is not that available on the buffet table you go and choose. For ordinary consciousness, it is like a buffet, you choose whatever it is. But for a la carte menu, you have to wait for a certain amount of time. First, you have to look into the menu and place an order, and then the order is prepared according to your choice and preferences. It takes time. So Osho is not an ordinary customer who will just pick up everything that is available on the buffet table. Instead, he has to look at the menu specifically and then decide what he wants to eat at this particular moment. And then, just as during the fasting time, Muslims choose a certain hour and a certain amount of dishes to balance their meals. So this is how a soul has to wait for the right occasion, right opportunity. That Osho says, I have to wait for 700 years. Depending on the number of items you order from the menu, and if you have any variations or specifications, every dish will be prepared specifically for you according to your taste and everything. So, a person who goes to participate in the buffet, he just picks up and finishes while you are still waiting for your menu to be served. How long it will take? So Osho says that it took him 700 years, And during that time, because certain works you do in your conscious state in the form, and certain things, it's not that during 700 years that he said was a gap between his last life and the current life, he did not do anything. In that you are in a formless form. You are into your subtle bodies. This is what Sufis say. There is a concept of jinns, the souls who could not attain to fulfillment in their lifetime, so they seek the company of the masters and they attain their subtle associations. I know it very well how it happens. Not everyone has capability and permission for these subtle bodies to come in communion with. So during that 700 years, what did he do? He spent time in the company of those awakened ones who were no more. And when the right time came and the right womb was available, he entered into life and he was born out of a particular type of parents who were capable to bear him. The conception happened because a womb has to be prepared, just as when there is a special guest, a room is prepared specifically for that person. If you are a honeymoon couple, your room is designed in a specific manner. And if you have a particular choice or anything, you pay for it and it will be decorated according to your choice. There are certain restaurants where such kind of arrangements are made. If you are celebrating your birthday or anniversary or things like that, you can make a request at a certain cost. And more so when a master says that I had to wait for 700 years to find the right womb, do not try to understand it through the mind. You have to feel it, you have to trust it. If logically you try to understand, there is no way to prove it. And intellectually you cannot come close to the master. The logic will always remain standing like a China wall between you and the master. The moment you come out of that walled garden, you are in open space, you are in communion with the master. And that is why Osho says, I waited 700 years for the right moment. And like Osho, you will say, I thank the existence for this. I know about it. I understand this. I feel it. There is not a single question that arose in my mind when I heard that Osho said that my last birth was 700 years ago and I had to wait for the right moment. Enough for now.